Okay, welcome back everybody. So this is sort of like what we're going to be discussing today together. And I don't want you to do the work. I just want you to sit back and watch. Okay, and yes, you will be turning this in as a screenshot. Okay, so just go ahead and first of all, I'd like you to open up your circles work, the ones that you did so gallantly. In other words, you did a good job. So I'm going to talk about the layers palette right now and getting you used to all this. First things first, okay? One thing about the layers palette you'll find out. First of all, everybody click and find the layers palette and only the layers and history palettes. So if you need help, ask me right now. I'd be happy to help you out, isolate this too. The reason we do this is because, again, it's the two of the more used layers, the palettes that we use. But at the same time, we don't want to clutter our workspace. So layers palette, tools, and if you lose any one of these, you can always find them in Windows. There it is right there, layers, and there it is right there, tools. So hopefully you have them both in front of you. Now, if you look at what we did here, this here is also kind of messy. Because for one thing, you don't know which becomes what. In other words, you don't know how to organize. Well, first of all, you got layer 1, layer 2. You see that? Layer 3. So now, one of the things you can do to make it more organized is to name the layers. Okay, so for instance, right here, you can actually call this anything you like. For instance, if you highlight the first row, first column, okay, that's kind of like tacky. We did that already. So if you click on the eye, obviously, you can make it disappear and you can make it reappear. All right. So another thing you can name the layers, and let's just call it blue. Or I challenge you to do this. Take the color picker, which is right here. Take the color picker. Okay, and select the blue. Notice how this foreground changes. Click on it, and here's what is known as a hex number, 312, whoops, 31212C9. You can actually copy that, okay? In fact, that's what I want you to do. Let's go ahead and copy it and paste it, and actually call it blue. This way, you guys know exactly what the hex number is. And the hex, again, if you click on all this, the hex number changes. So watch the hex number. It changes every time I kind of move inside this box. It changes. So we had it set, well, I kind of lost it, but we had it set at a specific hex number. And what I'd like you to do, and watch me do it, is kind of use, first of all, the color picker, which is this one. I'm going to select the red, okay? I'm going to select the foreground, copy this value here, press OK to get rid of it, and then on the next circle, which is a red colored, how do I know that? Because when I click on the eye, it disappears. I'm going to double click in there. I'm going to put the hex number and call it red. That way I know that it's some kind of red. Now, it may not exactly be red, but that's what I'd like for you to do for all of them. Okay, so I'm going to do the final one, and then I'm going to let you do it. And I'm not sure what color this is. Let's just call it lime. So layer 3, I didn't name anything. There it is, lime. Okay, so go ahead and do that for every one of these, please. All right, so we're back, and as you can see here, I've named a whole bunch of them. Now, white is 6 Fs, okay? Hopefully that's not what you have in your report card. Anyway, so blue is this hex number, lime. Now notice I've got 2 limes, but I've got 2 different hex numbers, so you can kind of tell them apart. So now we got a little bit more organized. So now, another thing I want you to be aware of is below it are the effects. Now say for instance we don't like this effect and we want to change it. Like for instance right here I have white and it's this guy right here. I don't I want it to be a different thing. So what I do is I double click on it, and now I can undo the pattern, and let's say I want satin, whatever that is, and then press OK. Notice that changed into satin. Satin. Okay, so again, I've got satin over here. This time I want to change that to color overlay. Ooh, crazy. There we go. And again, I want to do this here for bevel emboss. Double click. And let's get rid of, instead of inner bevel, let's go to emboss. Let's see what that looks like, okay? And I can do the same thing with the letters, okay? Now, I didn't include a letter here, but this is a good opportunity for me to show you how to handle effects. Say, for instance, I've got this letter here. It says right here, it says helpful. And I want to use the same effect, the outer glow, in fair, which is right next to it. Well, instead of having to click here and, going to layer and then layer style and then blah, 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 blah. Okay, so what I would do is if I want to use the same layer, I right click on the effects, and then what I do is I copy layer style. Check it out. Copy layer style. I highlight the word I want to change to, right click, and where's paste? Paste, paste, paste. Looking for paste. Hold on. I guess I missed out. I right click and there's paste layer style. Now notice what happens. You got the same layer. Okay? Pretty dope. Now I'm going to go ahead and click imagination. Where's imagination? So that's kind of what I'd like to do is kind of shrink it a little bit. And let me see if I can click on the T and shrink imagination. And I think they want me to highlight it. So I'm going to highlight it even though fonts are missing, cancel, whatever. Fonts missing, whatever. Yeah, just go ahead and replace it. I don't care. So it kind of didn't like the font I was using, but whatever. I don't like the font they're giving me. So I'm going to go ahead and click on imaginative, which is a big thing, and I'm going to go ahead and shrink it, actually make it bigger. All right, now I'm going to add a layer style. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go to layer, and then where is it? Layer style, and then I'm going to add an outer glow. Outer glow. Where's outer glow? Outer glow. And this time I'm going to, okay, that's pretty cool, but not so crazy there. So I'm just going to go ahead and spread a little bit and maybe make it, instead of that, imagination is pretty incredible. All right. Then I'm going to press OK. So now if I want to copy the same thing under dad, okay, which is this guy right here, I'm going to right click, copy layer style, copy layer style, and then click on the next layer, left click, paste layer style. So there it is. Now if I want to change it there, okay, because I can barely see that. So now I'm going to go ahead and double click here, and I'm going to change the color. Let's go yellow, maybe. That kind of doesn't work either. White does work. I see white working pretty well. So let me just go ahead and increase the opacity, increase the spread, increase the size. Press OK. All right, that's good. So what I'd like for you to, so go ahead and, we'll go ahead and work on this in class. Again, you're just watching. Don't do anything. Okay, you're going to get lost. All right, now we got a lot of effects, a lot of things. Now we've got the words associated. This is a colossal mess. Now, say for instance, I want to duplicate a layer. Okay, let's go ahead and say I want to duplicate. Let's go look for loving, loving, loving right here. How about this one right here? How do I know it's loving? Well, first of all, I can either do a couple of things. Right click and notice it names a layer. And when I name it, so when I click on the move tool, I move over an area, I right click, notice that it'll tell me what layer it is. And it'll highlight the layer. Wow, cool. So now what I want to do is, what do I want to do? Okay, so now what I want to do is duplicate it. Right click, I can duplicate the layer. So if I duplicate the layer, it'll ask me, okay, you sure you want to duplicate it? Let's make a copy of it. And believe me, that comes in handy. So now you'll see that it's got the 3912 C9 blue, and it's copy. And so now I can actually move this out. See? There we go. And if I want it over everything, I'm going to move this way up there. See that? Now it's still kind of under a couple of things. So I'm going to move this way up there. Guess it's still under some things. Can't seem to get it way up there. All right, there we go. I guess I have to bring it way up there. And then what I'm going to do is press Command T, Control T, and I'm going to shrink it. There it is. Now, I don't like it. It looks tacky. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the layer, right-click, and delete. That's it. And press yes. It's gone. I don't want it anymore. So the final thing is I showed you how. Now, for instance, that's deleting layers, duplicating layers. We can rename layers. Now, what about locking layers? What if I don't want these things to be touched? Okay, all I got to do is click on a layer. If you remember, the locking button over here prevents the background from being messed with. So what I'm going to do now is click on the first layer, which is my loving layer. I'm going to press on this lock. If I click on that lock, notice a lock appears. And even though I have the move tool ready, see the move tool? Okay, could not use because the layer is locked. Okay, so what I like you to do is go ahead and lock all these layers. Don't mess with them. Okay, let's see if we can do this part. Okay, so you only use this if you don't want it to be messed around with, or kind of don't want to be manhandled. All right. Okay, so now the final thing we're going to talk about is grouping. Well, before I do that, let me show you another thing. These little icons over here kind of isolate. So in other words, if I just want to see text and nothing else, notice only the text tools appears. If I want to see image and not the text, only the images appear. What is this? Okay, crazy. Anyways, that can make it disappear. So if you freak out and accidentally click on that, don't freak out. This is pathway, I believe, so we're not there yet. And this one, not sure what that does. Oh, that hides everything. So if you don't want to see this, just click off and forget about it. If you want to see everything, but you might want to, I would say keep this off for now and just not worry about it. But if you want to isolate the text, or if you want to isolate the images, okay, or if you want none of the above, just do that. Now what I want to do is teach you how to group these images, okay? So in other words, again, fair, okay, where's fair? There it is right there. It's with this gray. And so what if I kind of want these guys to be together in the best way possible? All right. In other words, I don't want to have to keep searching. I can right click on the word fair and there it is right there. It'll take me there. But what if I need to move fair? In other words, and I want the circle to move with it? Well, let me show you. First of all, you can link the two. But even before that, let's group them into individual groups or folders. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to click on fair and then click on the gray. Where is it? Gray. Just finding the gray thing. I think it's, well, I got to right click. So it's actually lime. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this and then also click on fair. If I can find fair. Okay, fair is right here. So you may want to stretch this down. Now, the way to do that is select lime. Okay, there it is right there. And then select the word fair, pressing and holding the command key. There it is right there. Okay, how do I know? It's okay. So both of these are now selected, as you can see. So now what I'm going to do is, let's see if I can right click, if it lets me do it here. If not, no problem. Let's see if it does it here. New group. Okay, so group from layers. So let's go ahead and click on group from layers. Okay, call it the group, and let's call it fair. There we go. Now notice you got a nice looking folder there, and you see basically you've got the two groups right there. Okay, Yeah, and it's kind of indented. Okay, the words are indented. You notice the word fair is quite a bit of ways from the left. Same thing with uh, the shape here. And if I go ahead and notice if I hide it and hide it, I can see that. But the best of all, I can collapse it and do that. Now let's go ahead and do that for the other thing. So for instance, let's do the white one, which is imaginative, and let's look for the word imaginative, which should be somewhere here. There it is right there. I'm going to highlight both. Then I'm going to click on this little hamburger icon over here, and then I'm going to group from layers. And let's go ahead and call it imaginative. Pretty cool. Now let's go to dad. And then which one is dad? I think it's this guy right here. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to press that. And then I'm going to group from layers, okay, and call it dad. There we go. So now you see it's starting to, now this funny face right here is the purple one. Again, I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. And I wish we can group from layers, but oh, here we go, group from layers. I right click and it group from layers. So it worked that time. I don't know why it didn't work any other time. So teacher, cool teachers, group from layers. It finally showed up. Maybe I just didn't see it before. Okay, so there it is. And that's what I need you to do. Okay, I like you to collapse everything. Okay, generous to red. Right click, group from layer, generous. And then loving, gotta all be loving. All right, so there we go. Right click, group from layers, loving. And this one, well, what did I do with this one? Oh, helpful. Okay, group from layers. Where is group from layers? Maybe if I clicked here, group from layers, there's, I guess you should click on the shape. And then loving. There we have it. Okay, so now you see everything is nice and neat. What I'd like you to do is click create a screen capture. Okay, it'll be on your desktop and upload it when I provide you with the form. Okay, that's today's class. Okay.